When it comes to the importance of networking and building relationships, many people think, oh, I've heard it all. I know all that stuff. But the reality is I have 5 tips for you that might flip some thinking upside down, because there are things you must do if you really want to stand out in today's crazy world, because all opportunities in life come from people. But if you don't invest in people, if you don't put yourself out there, you're going to miss out. And if you miss out, it means your competitor is going to get the opportunity, they're going to get the sale, and they're going to make more money. So you want to be thinking about, what can I do to make sure I'm really connecting with people? And here are 5 tips you may not hear regularly on this topic. Number 1 is the power of asking for help. So often when you hear advice on networking, you're told to go out and provide value, and that is very important. However, when you're in a situation where you're stuck, or you're confused, or you don't have all the answers, one of the best things you can do is to reach out for somebody and ask for their advice. Yeah, it takes a little bit of vulnerability to do it, but when you go to people and ask them for help, many people, not everybody, are going to be thrilled to be able to share their brilliance with you and set you up for what you need to do next. So remember, it's okay when you're networking to ask someone else for guidance and help. Number 2, follow up with unexpected generosity. So often when people meet someone for the first time in a networking situation, they might send them a text, hey, nice to meet you. Or they'll send them an email, great conversation. Or maybe if they're a little bit old school, and if they're super ahead of the game, they're going to send a handwritten note telling the person why they stood out. However, if you can follow up with really extensive generosity, really finding a way to help them, you're going to stand out even more when they are thinking about the people they met and the people they want to know better. And by this, I mean, don't just say it was nice to meet you. When you're meeting them, ask questions, find out what their biggest challenges are, and then find a way to connect the dots from your network to their needs. Just be overly enthusiastic about helping them. Don't be crazy or weird about it, but just be focused on the fact that you're going to do a little more than everybody else they met at that networking event. Number 3, don't be everywhere, but be somewhere. So often people think that networking is a numbers game, so they sign up for every event around town. They go here, they go there, they go over there, then they attend the next event. They're constantly snapping name tags onto themselves, but they're not really making any connections. Pick 1 or 2 organizations in your industry or in your community and never miss the things that that group does. You don't have to be everywhere, but you have to go deep with the organizations where you're networking. Become valuable. Volunteer for committees, serve on the board, and be a person who's always willing to help anyone else in that organization who is seeking your advice. Number 4 is you have to have a longevity mindset when it comes to building business relationships. So often people tell me, I tried all this networking stuff and it didn't lead to any values. And when I ask them, well, how long did you do it? They say, well, I went to that group twice and nobody referred me business, or I dropped in one time. Well, that's not the way you build relationships. And it's the long-term and mutually beneficial relationships that are going to really impact what you're trying to accomplish for the long run, which means you have to invest 2 or 3 or 4 years in really being engaged in your community if you want to see the results. Now, if you quit early, you're not going to see the results. But if you stick with it, the odds are going to be more in your favor that people are going to come through with those recommendations and those introductions and those opportunities that are going to help you soar in your career. And number 5, you got to go network outside of your bubble. So often we're constantly looking for people who are like-minded, people with similar experiences, people in similar industries. And that's awesome. Human beings are drawn to people who are like them. So we're naturally going to network with people who we share something in common with. However, where the real value comes is when you get outside of your industry, you get outside of your generational age box, you get outside of everything. Diversity is key when it comes to network. You want to have a network with really smart people who've done a lot of different things. So I want you to think about this the next time you go to an industry event. My name is Thom Singer, and I speak all the time at corporate and association conferences. And so often people say on the forms they fill out, they want more networking. They wish the networking opportunities were better at the conferences. But then when they show up, they don't take any action. They just do the same thing. They sit with their coworkers. So I'm here to tell you, listen to these 5 tips the next time you go to a networking event and turn your whole networking ideas upside down. And maybe you're going to find that you have much, much better results.